Hello dear aspirants, I am Akriti Kanchi, your mentor from Prepp IAS, and I am trying to make your newspaper reading as easy and fast as possible. So if you take a lot of time in reading newspaper and you waste a lot of time, you can join me, with these videos. We finish it in around 15 to 20 minutes or sometimes even lesser, and we'll try to help you to collect the most relevant news, and that too how to use in prelims questions or in mains answer, right? And very relevant to UPSC syllabus. So let's start this 12th February newspaper. Okay, so our honorable PM has participated in artificial intelligence safety meeting. Okay, so he is some statements. He's a PM of the country are very important, and especially of our own country, his statements are very important. It can be used as a conclusion in the answers also. Okay, so this comes under GS paper 2, global agreements affecting India's interest. So history shows technology won't take away work. Okay, so we have benefited from 21st century IT revolution, right? So that is the example. So government frameworks for artificial intelligence are not just about managing risks and rivalries. Instead, we should call for a collective approach to set standards for AI that benefit everyone, especially the global south. This is what our honorable PM is suggesting. India is co-chairing this summit with France, okay, and he acknowledged the fear of widespread job losses from AI, but he's saying if we work on reskilling is very important, and updating ourselves is very important. If we do that, we'll be fine. Okay, so he's saying we must build quality data sets free from biases, and we must democratize technology and create people-centric applications, and capabilities should be given to global south. That is important. Okay, so this is what our PM has said in the safety meet. So Manipur crisis has been going on. President rule has been established. The president rule has been announced, proclaimed is the word, right? So you should, any article coming in newspaper, any article of the constitution mentioned in the newspaper is very important from both prelims and mains point of view. Okay, so in this article of newspaper, the constitution article 174 is mentioned. So Manipur crisis is going on. So according to this, this comes under the federal relations between India and state. Okay, so according to Article 174, Clause 1 of the Constitution, 6 months shall not intervene between the last sitting of the assembly in one session and the date appointed for its next sitting. So there should not be the gap of more than 6 months between the two sessions of the assembly. So assembly should come and meet and talk about the they should represent the people who have elected them regularly and talk about their issues. That is the purpose of democracy in elections, right? So however, the official noted that provision does not explicitly state the assembly must be dissolved in case the 6-month period has lapsed. Okay, so mainly because the time schedule fixed under Article 174 cannot be adhered to, that is not the ground for bringing into operation Article 356. This is not the ground. There's other grounds for which Article 356 has already been proclaimed for Manipur. Okay, that we will discuss in the coming days newspaper. Let's move to the next article. Okay, so this article is important. IIT Madras develops indigenous Shakti semiconductor chip. Okay, so whatever science and technology is important. So GS paper 3, achievements of Indians in science and technology. Okay, so IIT Madras and the ISRO have developed an indigenous aerospace quality Shakti based semiconductor chip. We are quite behind in the semiconductor area compared to China and USA, right? So we are trying to work in that area. Shakti is backed by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology under its Digital India RISC 5 initiative, DIRV. Okay, it is called DIRV. It aims to promote indigenous development of microprocessor based products, which is best in class security and visibility for users adopting RISC V technology, RISC V technology. Okay, so this is to indigenize semiconductors. Let's go to the next article. So this article is very important from climate point of view. a role for India in South-South climate cooperation. We just covered in the 11th February also, and 12th February is focusing again the South-South cooperation, but more from climate finance point of view. Okay, this comes under syllabus GS paper 2, global agreements affecting India's interests. Okay, so COP29. What is COP? So United Nations Framework for Climate Change. They meet regularly. Okay, so those meetings are called named as COP. Okay, so COP21 was in 2015 at Paris, which was very important. Okay, this is COP29 at Baku, Azerbaijan, which is referred to as climate finance COP, where climate finance was mainly discussed. Okay, and Paris Agreement, that is 2015 COP21, Article 6. Adoption of Article 6 at Baku talks about market mechanism that will help countries to adopt technology to become carbon neutral. This UNFCC's and COP's aim is to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. For the new people who already don't know, so they are trying to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. For that they want to create technologies and methods. For that they will need money, right? That's why financing is important. To be able to reduce GHGs, we need technology. For that technology, we need money, and for that, we want developed country to give us the money. Okay, so Article 6 has the potential to meet climate ambitions through cooperative approaches. Article 6.2 of Paris Agreement facilitates the transfer of internationally transferred mitigation outcomes, ITMOs. What is internationally transferred mitigation outcome? Example, India has reduced the carbon GHG that it was supposed to, and it has further reduced. So it can sell that to the countries that cannot reduce because of the lack of space, and they don't have that avenue. So they will come and invest in our country, and that will be given to them also, that they have reduced their carbon when they're investing in our country. So they will be able to reduce their carbon targets. They were CO2 targets that they were supposed to decrease. Okay, so that is what is ITMOs. It will help countries meet their nationally determined contributions. Okay, so emission reduction in the host country, but it also fosters technology change, promote capacity building. Okay, so climate commitments are important. A lot of things they have talked about reducing. So India's target is to reduce emissions intensity by 45% by 2030. Okay, India and other developing countries asked the developed countries to pay $1 trillion, whereas they just agreed to give $300 billion. So they did not give the finances that was required and that was justified. Okay, so there were other schemes related to this: emission trading scheme, carbon credit trading scheme. Okay, you should know about all this. CCTS proposes to strengthen India's institutions by providing a framework for transparent carbon credit tracking. Transparent, who is producing how much carbon. There should be transparency about it. Okay, there have been continuous efforts in this area: clean development mechanism, voluntary carbon markets, energy saving certificates, renewable energy certificates. So these are being done by the country, right? You should know about it. So there has to be South-South cooperation, and they can ITMOs, this internationally transferred mitigation outcomes, can be used in South-South cooperation and not just developed and developing country. India can do it with developing countries also, right? So like green hydrogen, sustainable aviation fuel, expertise, research and investment can be done. There's another term that has been talked about is the new collective quantified goal, NCQG. It encourages such South-South cooperation, as developing countries have been extending climate finance to other developing countries also. So developed countries are not doing their job, developing countries are partnering with each other very well. Okay, so you should know all these terms. Not just North-South dynamics, but South-South dynamics are also very important. Common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities was the reason why developed countries should have given money, because they started burning fossil fuels much before the developing country, right? So they have a responsibility. Let's move to the next article. So this article is very important. Forest fire right now. Los Angeles, California is burning under fire. So addressing the growing threat of forest fires, this comes under GS paper 3, environmental degradation and conservation measures that we should take to conserve our natural resources like forest. Okay, so in India also there are a lot of forest fires. According to the Forest Survey of India, more than 36% of the country's forest cover is prone to fire. Okay, according to the analysis by Council on Energy, Environment and Water states that there has been tenfold increase in the forest fire incidents in the last 2 decades. Okay, and forest cover increase has not been that much. So 90% of these fires are because of human activities, okay, mostly human activities like land clearing, slash and burn agriculture, okay, climate change driven factors, lot of things, okay. So they have a lot of consequences, natural consequences, social consequences, and economic consequences, okay. So for example, MOEFCC has said that this leads to economic loss, forest degradation leads to economic loss of 1.7 lakh crore rupees, okay. So there's a lot of economic issues, wildlife and biodiversity has happened, natural issues, forest dependent communities are also affected, these are social issues, okay. So government is trying to bring a lot of things like National Action Plan on Forest Fires and the Forest Fire Prevention and Management Scheme. So these two things you should know, National Action Plan on Forest Fires, Forest Fire Prevention and Management Scheme, okay. This is a centrally sponsored scheme, okay. There are other good initiatives that people are also doing, community participation. For example, in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, self-help groups, especially women, what they do, they collect pine needles, which leads to forest fire. So they are trying to save by collecting pine needles. Nepal's community forest user groups are also very good example that India and US both should learn from. Indonesia's Fire Free Village program, okay, and also engage youth as forest fire scouts so that they can find and warn you in the right time. Local knowledge they have, they will help you in finding. So this writer is suggesting several technology like forest fire alert system, drones, and early warning system, etc. Okay. Moving on to the next article, struggling with poor cyber security. This comes under GS3, internal security, cyber security problems. So Karnataka's critical information infrastructure has come under attack again. So Kaveri 2.0, a web portal that was launched in 2023 to streamline property registrations in Karnataka, came under a distributed denial of service attack carried out through artificial intelligence powered bots recently. So denial of service attack, what is it? It can be asked in prelims also. Denial of service attack occurs when legitimate users are unable to access information system devices or network resources due to the actions of malicious cyber threat actor. While a distributed denial of service attack occurs when multiple machines are operating together to attack one target. So you should know what is denial of service and what is distributed denial of service, okay. So DDoS attack crippled the portal, bringing property registrations across Karnataka to a halt, okay. So you should know about cyber security challenge that is happening around the country. Let's move to the next article. How will freeze on United States aid affect the world? Okay, so this comes under GS paper 2, effect of politics or policies of developed country affecting India's interests. Okay, so President Donald Trump has brought a 90-day freeze on foreign assistance. So what is US aid? The US Agency for International Aid, it's the full form. The US Agency for International Aid was set up as an independent agency through an act of Congress in 1961. It was an attempt to align all US efforts to administer civilian foreign aid and development assistance. Okay, so it was there to help civilian foreign and development assistance in other countries. Its mission is to promote and demonstrate democratic values abroad and advance a free, peaceful and prosperous world. Okay, advancing the US security and prosperity. It works in over 100 countries and in sectors like health, education, economy, food security, humanitarian assistance, climate change. It works in participation with NGOs, governments, business and other NGOs. It provides grants, capability building, different technical assistance, etc. Okay. So in India, the quantum of funding has reduced over the years, with the government of India objecting to certain aspects of the condition for the agreement of grants. So if US aid gives you money, it keeps certain conditions. So India didn't agree with a lot of them. So that's why the grants coming to India has reduced. So while health remains the main sector where US aid has been involved in India, with a funding of $79.3 million in 2024, it also has interests in economy, energy, water supply, sanitation and environmental health. So these will be the effect happening in India. The top recipients of US aid will be badly affected, which are Ukraine, Ethiopia, Jordan, Somalia, Democratic Republic of Congo, which is going through another ethnic conflict, Afghanistan, Nigeria. These countries will be badly affected. Let's move to the next article. So this the banality of evil, learning about Gaza from Nazi history. So banality of evil is a concept given by political philosopher called Hannah Arendt. So coming from a political science, it's having a PSI are optional. I know about this topic, but normal even general studies students not having PSI or optional can use it in the essays or ethics. Okay, so it talks in this banality of evil, they interview or they describe a Nazi officer called Adolf Eichmann. Okay, so the book is, the seminal work is called Eichmann in Jerusalem, a report on the banality of evil. So the banality of evil means that the evildoer, what acts being done by wrong people becomes normalization of bad things. Okay, so this happens. Okay, so in ethics, what they are trying to say, when bureaucrats, officers blindly follow their dictators or the ministers or things like that, they stop thinking on themselves and they just follow the orders blindly, some events like Holocaust can happen. Okay, so that is what it is talking about. It has various so Eichmann, that the officer Eichmann, according to him, he was doing everything right. He was following Immanuel Kant's idea of a categorical imperative in defense of his action. He has said that I was doing my duty, that my boss had asked me to do so. Okay, so and without reference to other considerations. So Arendt was shocked that people can use ethics even when they were doing horrifying incident like genocide. Okay, so this is also called apolitical administrator. Apolitical administrator is not right. You have to think if some political message or guide or dictate is being given to you. So this is what is being talked in this, and you can use it in essay and ethics, where if the question comes about that if the bureaucrat is being given orders like this, how he or she should behave. Okay, so while the idea that so many individuals who had participated in the Holocaust were merely following orders, they were, according to all the Nazi officers who were killing lakhs of people, they were doing nothing wrong, only following orders. But it was creating the biggest bad incident of the entire humankind, right? So Arendt argues that in such a situation it is better to suffer. It is better to suffer by not following the political head and whatever happens to you, rather than doing wrong, because even if it is unlawful at that moment. Okay, so one should behave in a from humanistic point of view. That is very important. So use this concept of banality of evil. Let's go to the next article. Yeah. So for continuing from the PM speech at AI Safety Summit, he's also saying this AI requires a lot of energy, okay, in reference to high energy consumption of data centers. So this energy should also be green, okay, because we have to avoid fossil fuels and we have to move towards green energy. So he's talking about International Solar Alliance also. He connected AI safety to International Solar Alliance because AI needs energy, which should be green in nature. Right, so India leads in AI adoption and techno-legal solutions on data privacy. This also our PM, has said that in the summit. Let's move to the next article. Okay, now let's move to another article. Over 800 apps, 3,000 websites blocked due to security reasons. This comes under GS paper 3, challenges to internal security through communication networks. Okay, so Union Home Minister Amit Shah informed the parliamentary committee that 805 mobile applications, apps and 3,000 website links have been blocked so far due to national security reasons. Okay, and 1.43 lakh FIRs have been registered on Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. When internal security question is there, you should use terms like critical information infrastructure, Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, and over 19 crore people have used the website cybercrime.government.in. Right? So these points you can use in your internal security answers. Let's move to the next article. India, 57 countries call for inclusive and sustainable AI. So this comes under GS paper 2, global agreements involving India. So what has happened? 58 countries including India, China, Brazil, France and Australia signed on the joint statement, which is inclusive and sustainable artificial intelligence for people and the planet. Okay, which is AI Action Summit in Paris, but the statement was not signed by the US and UK. Okay, this is to be US Vice President says that it is excessive regulation of the AI sector. So this much you are supposed to know, that US and UK did not sign it. Let's move to the next article. This is more of a prelims fact. As I told you, any constitution article mentioned in newspaper is of your interest. Cannot monitor from Delhi, SC says on mob lynching prosecutions. So when directions are issued by the Supreme Court, they are binding on all courts, okay, and authorities across the country under Article 141 of the Constitution. Please buy a Bare Act of BM Bakshi or any other Bare Act and go and see the Article 141. Whatever article we mentioned, go and open the article, look at the index and also as the article speaks, okay. Let's go to the next article. Next news article, and we'll directly come to the science page. Yeah, so here they're talking, it's a more of prelims fact, okay. So Asian elephants change scientists' minds on why they trumpet. So most of what we know about elephant sounds, that comes from the studies of African elephants. We don't know much about Asian elephants, okay. The species native to India and other tropical and subtropical Asia are entirely different species with unique habitats and adaptations, okay. So elephants live up to around 70 years and they live in herds, okay. So they have developed a system of sound from low frequency rumbles and rose to high frequency squeaks, okay. So high frequency vocalization are called trumpets. This includes social interaction, play and agonistic interactions, okay. The younger elephants produce higher pitch and older ones produce lower pitched calls, okay. So the study laid the groundwork to understand South Asian elephants' use and to explore the acoustic behaviors of herds. Researchers are curating an Asian elephant sound library, okay. That will soon be accessible to the public. Let's go to the next article, last article. Why is Hawaii ideal for rainbows? Where is Hawaii? It is in USA, okay. It is one of the states of USA in the Pacific Ocean, okay. So why they're ideal for rainbows? Why? This can come in prelims. They can put points. Why? What situations are most, very good for rainbows? So here Hawaii is regular sunshine. Hawaii has a lot of sunshine. Short range showers. So rain showers is important because only when the sunlight passes through the rain droplets, it creates into the spectrum of lights, okay. The white lights goes through the prism and it becomes spectrum of light, and clean air should also be there so that you can see the rainbow. So Hawaii's regular sunshine, short range shower and clean air come together to create planet's best condition for viewing rainbow, thus making Hawaii rainbow capital of the world, okay. Raindrops refract sunlight into spectrum of colors, as I told you. The brighter the sun, the clearer the rainbow, okay. So this is what you should know. Archaeology's trade winds bring many small showers with enough blue sky between them for the sun to shine through. That's it for 12th February. Thank you.